Hello, I'm Jody Wolfe, and you're watching Expoz, December 6, 2019, 12:12 a.m. in Birmingham. And wow, I got a topic here. I want to take a step back to the last blog I did and just make a comment, and then I want to tell you about, well, something that you might need to pay attention to. And First, when I was talking on the last blog about God said, let us make man in our image. And if you were to say that to in a general term or using it as a just a comment, then you would might think, well, there's been others like us, so let us make them in our image, or let us make man in our image. Almost like you're hinting at this is the first time. And I can see, now, of course, everything God makes is out of his love, everything. And Jesus proved that by going to the cross, by leaving paradise, leaving his place in heaven, coming down and dying a horrible death on the cross. And God raised him on the third day after he was buried. That proves that God loves us so much. He wants us to be with him. And Jesus is the only way that we can be with God. Jesus said, no man comes to the Father but by me. And then when he says, now this is good. This is another way of telling you, look, I'm God in the flesh. And we kind of look alike. Because someone asked him about God, and he said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. You know, you have a spirit that put on a suit, a coat, a body. So that's twice that has been indicated that I can see or that I can hear. And those little things I pick out that I don't see answers for anywhere. So that's why I kind of go off and think alone about those things and never say much about them. But I believe that we were made in God's image. We were the first. And I believe that we were deeply loved and worth keeping, worth saving. And that's why Jesus died for us. Look, when you're in paradise, when you're in eternity, can you imagine how many lights there are in the heavens? They call the stars, which most are suns, but that all those bodies surrounding these suns, they are now saying, a lot of them could be inhabited. I don't believe any are inhabited by a man. Maybe an angel has been passed by, or maybe taken up residence there. But man, or another civilization of people that wants to make contact, has not happened. So we will have, and I love being alone. I have been, to be honest, to Daytona Beach and Biketoberfest, the combination. I've been 22 times and 18 times or 17 times by myself. I've been out west from here, from Birmingham, Alabama, to the Pacific coast, driving Washington, Oregon, California. I've done that 5 times by myself. and I have been out west 17 other times, and 5 of those somebody else. My daughters once, another daughter once, and then my wife and I 3 times. So I like alone. I love to go out. I love to find new things, new places, see things I've never seen before. And in paradise, you'll be able to do that. And if it's so vast, so big, so huge, so many trillions and trillions of planets, that if you were to go and visit one and be the first human to lay eyes on it, probably the first period, no human or angel ever has laid eyes on it, you may be the first. And just say you find that. And it might be the size of Earth, it might be the size of the moon, or it may be the size of Betelgeuse. This giant ball that would consume a billion Earths, 2 billion Earths. You put 2 billion Earths inside of it. And you say you want to explore it. Well, it may take you 2 billion years. Hey, that's okay. You got time. You've got time to explore it and a billion others just like it, and time still hasn't begun for you. And travel-wise, it's not like you gotta take 1 billion light years or 4 billion light years to get there, or 4 million, or 4,000, or even a week. You get there instant, just boom, you're there. So there's so much that we'll be able to do that our imaginations today cannot comprehend the things that God has planned for us. Can't come close to it. So think about what there is to do to heaven. In heaven, we can't imagine. It's 1,000 times greater than the wildest imagination that anyone could come up with. Okay, let's skip on to the point, to the what's happening. This person, LEAHZ, I'm sure you all have heard the name. When I did the blog prior to this one now, I don't know what's gotten into my computer or YouTube. It takes a long time to load these things up. I mean, long enough that sometimes I just put the computer to sleep and go in the house. Check after a while and see if it's on yet. But anyway, when I went in to check to see if my blog has uploaded so that I could come in back out here and turn the computer off, I click on it, I come up, and when I come up, I pause it, and I'm getting ready to leave the screen, and I see on the right side, you got all these titles for all these blogs on YouTube, and I'm looking at Jody Farg, I'm looking at Larry Hagman, Steve Quayle, and Skywatch TV, and I'm looking, and there's another LEAHZ, several of those, Larry Hagman, but one LEAHZ stood out. In the title, it's David Wilkerson's most horrific prophecy about to happen. She doesn't post things of this nature, LEAHZ. She does not. She's more of a laid-back teacher, and more in my mind of a ladies' lady. It's like she's teaching a women's class and taking her time. That's the way I perceive her. But the one dated, LEAHZ, Lyn, last name Leahz, YouTube. Go to the one that was uploaded, premiered November 26, 2019. David Wilkerson's most horrific prophecy about to happen. And she is talking about it. And why is she talking about it? She sees that the threat may be very, very real. And from the date November the 16th, she said 10, 15 days. She said 2 to 3 weeks. This is supposed to happen. This is the Cascadia Seduction Zone. This is part of the Ring of Fire that's on the West Coast. It starts up at the, my gosh, here I can't even think of it now, but you're above Washington State, and you have Canada there, and which is British Columbia. That's what I'm trying to think of. So I didn't even go there, but I found it, thank goodness, or thought of it. British Columbia, all the way down, Washington State, Oregon, California. Now, it's 37 minutes long, but I continued to listen to it. And it got so involved. They are warning us today. They are warning. Guys, I don't know how to treat a warning, how to react to a warning of this magnitude. They're talking about it could create a tsunami anywhere from 10 feet to 200 feet high. And there would be a 40-foot immediate shift of the ground, not moving apart, but dropping, because you have one sliding up under the other right now, and they expect one to drop quickly, which is this one here. And that drops, this drops, and here comes the tidal wave or the tsunami. But she said expect up to 200 miles inland total devastation, except a few of the buildings that are built to handle earthquakes. The man, David Wilkerson, is calling for up to a 9.5 or greater earthquake to go with it. He also said, or somebody else said in this, I don't know who, but it's in there. If you please go to it and listen to it. Also said that it would be enough to force a San Andreas fault earthquake, enough to also, get this, also force the New Madrid fault to do the same thing. Now, here's what they're seeing right this minute, today. With the satellites in the sky, they're looking down on this part of the world, and they're counting 331 spots. They're hot zones. And they said, well, they're forest fires. Somebody said, no, not that many, not this time of the year. They went and counted the forest fires. And then they counted the volcanoes. Some are sending little plumes up, but they're sending the one that has the heat source close to the surface. The heat source, did I say that? So they come up with 62, 20% of that number of 331. So they said out in the water and on land, that heat source looks as though it's a forest fire. It's putting that much heat on the surface and in the water. And in the water, that much heat is come to the surface. They said something major is about to happen. And they discounted the numbers that they proved that were fires, and they proved that were hot spots on volcanoes like Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, and many others. They discounted 62 that left 155, I think is 155 hot zones, hot spots that they're seeing, and they're all lined up on the ring of fire. Guys, this is a warning. They're going out today, and it's kind of on the back of the one that Tom Horn is given today. His date is set up between 2026 and 2029 of Wormwood, an asteroid that'll hit Earth. That will fall dead in middle. 2029 would be at the end of the 7-year tribulation. So Tom Horn's date's in there, but I don't think it'll be 2029. I think it'll be closer to 2026. Wormwood. This is the fourth trumpet, if I'm not mistaken. Wormwood kills a third of what's in the oceans, a third of the rivers. It turns them bitter. Kills a third. Even the creeks and the lakes and the springs and those things that are in them. Guys, again, David Wilkerson's most horrific prophecy about to happen, question mark, quotation mark. LEAHZ posted it November 26, 2019. Please go look at it. Just look at it for the sake of looking at it. I have never heard LEAHZ post something like this as in a warning. Guys, we are about to get hit. And if it hits and it aggravates and moves about and shifts and causes the San Andreas and the New Madrid Fault, and if y'all don't know, there's another fault line going down the Appalachian Mountain chain. It dies right here where I live, a little bit to the south of me, about 4 miles, the end of these foothills. And where the earthquake runs through here, I don't know. But there is an Appalachian Mountain fault line. If all this happens, all I can see is the lightning strike going as if it's going from the east to the west. Instantly, boom, you see it. Next thing you know, all the Christians have left. And then it has begun. Are you ready to be left behind? Or are you ready to go forward? Just want to give you this warning. I know I've given them before, but nothing that I've ever had on my own or come up with. And I'm also reading rattles about now Damascus. Guys, I believe we're that close. I mean, I do. Please take this as a warning. Take it as something at least to think about. But do it quickly, because 2 weeks of November 26th is not far from here. Jody, Wolfe, Expoz.